Have Gun Will Travel, Season 6, Episode 7, Bodyguard, Detailed Summary. The seventh episode of Have Gun Will Travel Season 6, Bodyguard, places Paladin in a situation that forces him to examine the complicated relationship between protection, trust, personal freedom, and human vulnerability. As with many of the series' most memorable episodes, the story uses a familiar Western premise as a foundation for a much deeper exploration of human behavior. Instead of focusing exclusively on violence and gunfights, the episode examines what it truly means to protect another person and whether physical security alone is enough to keep someone safe. The story begins in San Francisco, where Paladin receives a request that initially appears straightforward. A wealthy and influential individual needs protection while traveling through dangerous territory. Such assignments are not unusual for Paladin. His reputation as both an exceptional gunfighter and an intelligent problem solver has made him one of the most respected professionals in the American West. Clients hire him not only because of his skill with a revolver, but also because of his ability to anticipate danger before it becomes unavoidable. Although the assignment seems simple, Paladin immediately notices several warning signs. His client appears nervous, but the fear extends beyond ordinary concerns about bandits or highway robbers. There is a deeper level of anxiety that suggests the threat may be more personal than initially described. Paladin has spent years observing people in dangerous situations, and he understands that fear often reveals hidden truths. Some individuals become aggressive when frightened. Others become silent. Many attempt to hide their emotions behind confidence or arrogance. His client demonstrates several of these behaviors simultaneously, leading Paladin to suspect that the assignment involves more than simple physical protection. As they begin their journey, the episode establishes one of its central themes: the difference between physical safety and emotional security. A bodyguard can defend a person from external threats, but protection becomes much more complicated when the danger originates from fear, guilt, distrust, or unresolved personal conflicts. The relationship between Paladin and the person he has been hired to protect quickly becomes the driving force behind the narrative. The client views security as something that can be purchased. If enough money is spent, every problem can supposedly be solved. Paladin disagrees. His experiences have taught him that no amount of money can eliminate uncertainty. Wealth can buy weapons, guards, and secure accommodations, but it cannot guarantee peace of mind. This philosophical difference creates tension almost immediately. The client wants complete control over every situation. Paladin, however, believes that survival often requires flexibility and adaptation. As the journey continues, several suspicious events increase the sense of danger. Strange encounters, unexpected delays, and unusual behavior from people they meet suggest that someone may indeed be following them. However, the episode carefully avoids revealing too much information too quickly. Instead, it builds tension gradually. Paladin pays close attention to details that others ignore. He notices inconsistencies in conversations. He studies body language. He carefully evaluates every new development. His investigative approach reflects one of the qualities that has always separated him from traditional Western heroes. Many television cowboys rely primarily on courage and physical strength. Paladin relies on observation and intelligence. The episode also explores the psychological effects of constantly expecting danger. Living under continuous stress changes people. They become suspicious. They lose the ability to trust others. They begin seeing threats everywhere. The client experiences all of these symptoms. Even when no immediate danger exists, anxiety continues influencing every decision. Paladin recognizes this pattern because he has encountered it many times before. The frontier is an unpredictable environment. Violence can appear without warning. Yet living in a permanent state of fear often creates as many problems as the dangers people are trying to avoid. As the story develops, additional characters enter the narrative, each contributing new information and raising new questions. Can they be trusted? Are they allies? Or are they part of a larger threat? The uncertainty surrounding these characters creates an atmosphere of constant tension. One of the episode's strongest themes involves the concept of trust. Trust is essential for any protective relationship. A bodyguard and a client must work together. Without trust, Communication begins breaking down. Poor communication creates vulnerability. Throughout the episode, Paladin repeatedly attempts to establish honest communication with his client. However, the client continues withholding important information. This secrecy frustrates Paladin because he understands that incomplete information makes effective protection almost impossible. The audience gradually begins to realize that the greatest threat may not come from outside enemies at all. Instead, the real danger may be rooted in the client's own past. This revelation introduces another important theme. People cannot escape the consequences of their previous actions simply by hiring someone to protect them. Many of the problems faced by the characters have developed over time. Choices made months or years earlier continue influencing present events. Paladin has always believed in personal responsibility. He understands that actions create consequences. No bodyguard, regardless of skill, can completely erase the past. The physical landscape of the American West plays an important role throughout the episode. Long stretches of open terrain create feelings of both freedom and vulnerability. Travelers cannot easily hide. Danger can approach from any direction. This setting reinforces the emotional uncertainty experienced by the characters. The farther they travel, the more isolated they become. The episode uses this isolation effectively. Without the distractions of civilization, characters are forced to confront one another directly. Conversations become more honest. Emotional defenses begin weakening. Hidden truths slowly emerge. Paladin's role gradually shifts from that of a hired protector to that of an unwilling counselor. He begins addressing emotional conflicts rather than simply focusing on physical threats. This transition highlights another defining characteristic of his personality. He rarely limits himself to the specific task he was hired to perform. He believes that solving a problem requires understanding its underlying causes. Surface-level solutions rarely produce lasting results. As tensions continue rising, the client becomes increasingly difficult to manage. Fear begins affecting judgment. Irrational decisions create unnecessary risks. Paladin finds himself balancing two responsibilities simultaneously. He must protect his client from external dangers while also preventing the client from becoming a danger to themselves. The supporting characters contribute significantly to the episode's emotional depth. Some offer assistance. Others create additional complications. Several challenge Paladin's assumptions and force him to reconsider his understanding of the situation. These interactions demonstrate another recurring theme throughout the series. People are rarely as simple as they initially appear. Heroes possess flaws. Villains sometimes possess understandable motivations. Ordinary individuals frequently find themselves making extraordinary decisions under pressure. The moral complexity of the episode reflects the broader philosophy of Have Gun, Will Travel. The series consistently rejects simplistic storytelling. Instead of presenting obvious heroes and villains, it explores human behavior through complicated relationships and conflicting motivations. As the climax approaches, several important revelations finally bring hidden conflicts into the open. The truth behind the threats becomes clearer. Long-standing fears are confronted. Relationships are reevaluated. Paladin's suspicions are confirmed, but the final resolution depends less on gunfighting and more on honesty. The confrontation at the center of the episode demonstrates that true protection requires more than physical intervention. People must also confront emotional truths. Ignoring those truths only postpones inevitable consequences. One of the most powerful moments in the episode occurs when the client finally begins accepting responsibility. This acceptance creates an opportunity for growth. The realization does not erase past mistakes, but it changes the way those mistakes are understood. Paladin recognizes this transformation immediately. He understands that personal accountability often represents the first step toward genuine security. The title, Bodyguard, ultimately becomes more symbolic than literal. At first, it refers to Paladin's professional role. By the end of the episode, however, the concept of protection has expanded considerably. What does it mean to protect someone? Is physical safety enough? Can another person truly protect someone from guilt, regret, or fear? The episode suggests that the answer is no. Protection can provide temporary security, but lasting peace requires self-awareness and personal responsibility. As always, Paladin eventually completes his assignment and prepares to continue traveling. His departure carries the familiar mixture of satisfaction and melancholy that characterizes many episodes in the series. He has helped another person navigate a difficult situation, but he remains a temporary visitor rather than a permanent presence. This transient lifestyle continues defining his identity. He enters troubled communities, offers guidance, resolves conflicts, and then moves forward toward another destination. Yet every experience leaves a small mark on him. Every assignment expands his understanding of human nature. Bodyguard succeeds because it transforms a familiar Western scenario into a thoughtful examination of fear, trust, and responsibility. The episode avoids relying exclusively on action. Instead, it focuses on relationships and psychological tension. This approach allows the story to explore timeless questions that extend far beyond the historical setting of the American frontier. Who can people trust? Can money provide security? Is it possible to escape the consequences of previous actions? What responsibilities do individuals have toward those trying to help them? Through Paladin's journey, the episode suggests that genuine protection requires honesty, trust, and the courage to confront uncomfortable truths. Violence may solve immediate problems, but it cannot resolve emotional conflicts. Only personal growth can accomplish that. By combining suspense, character development, and philosophical reflection, Bodyguard delivers another compelling chapter in one of television's most intelligent Western series. The guns, horses, and frontier landscapes create the setting,